Hey babes, today her reign, her rules collides with big D energy. And no, not that kind, get your minds out of the gutter. Today we have Dan Sachkowsky in the building. And trust me, we're not here to play small. You've got me, Lo, your guide through life, love, and leveling the hell up. And you've got Dan, a powerhouse strategist who helps entrepreneurs stop leaking energy and start building businesses that actually scale and sustain. So what happens when a life and relationship realist meets a system-minded scaler? Well, I'm going to tell you, magic, alignment, and a mic drop masterclass in personal branding for a better business, a better legacy, and a more unapologetic you. Because here's the truth. Your brand isn't just what you sell, it's who you are. And if you're not showing up fully, your business isn't either. So now you might be wondering, what's a relationship realist like me doing with a business strategist like him? Well, we're pulling back the curtain on the secret sauce of success, personal branding. Not just branding for your business, but for your becoming, because your personal brand is your energetic fingerprint. And whether you're leveling up in business, for a job interview, or trying to be a better partner, parent, or friend, you have to be in alignment. Because when your energy and identity and income finally match, you don't chase, you reign. So let's get into it. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you.
It's awesome that you took the time to be here today.
Absolutely. He hit me up. He said, hey, I got a spot for you. I need you to come do this podcast.
Yeah.
I said, no problem, man. Whatever you guys need.
Well, I appreciate it. And I guess we're going to dive right into it. So we're going to start talking about hustle culture.
Okay.
There's a lot of talk out there about what it means to be a hustler and grind in business. And some people kind of don't really love those terms. And I feel like a lot of people, they're trying to build their personal brand and they dive head first into this entrepreneurial space, not really understanding what it takes to be in that space. So what's your take on the current hustle culture? And is there any part of that is based in fear for people?
So I think the whole hustle culture is a lot of noise. I think most people who hustle do it silently. Most people who actually are putting the work in and getting the results are the ones who don't need the clout, or the ones who don't need other people to pat them on the back.
Right.
And if you look at some of the most successful people in the world, they're not doing things for the audience. They're doing things for them. And if you have to go out there and tell everybody, like, I hustle so much, I don't sleep, hustle every day, the grind don't stop, all that nonsense, like, you're not doing it.
Yeah.
You're spending so much time focusing on what you could be versus what you should be.
Yep. I agree. So what's the first red flag you see when someone says they want to scale up, but they're really not ready?
Well, it's commitment, right? So people have to be willing to change, wanting to change. Are you willing to commit to being a different version of you?
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to throw everything away that you've already built up into this point? Because wherever you are right now in life, like, if you want to get to the next level, that was just a lesson. That's a chapter that has to be closed. You got to open up a new chapter. You got to start diving deep into the places and the people that you really want to be like.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big premise, going on in my podcast. Just learning those lessons and being ready to take that next step and bridge that gap between where you were and where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And some people aren't willing to do the work, but
True.
so I'm sure you see that. How much is scaling about strategy and how much is about self-worth?
So I would say self-worth comes after self-growth. And
Like that.
most of your scaling is going to have to do, because if you want to become a bigger version of you, you've got to become a better version of you. But it's got to be reconditioning your mind, your life, your body, everything into a space where you're uncomfortable. And resistance creates results. And you need that resistance. You need that powerful pain to go through. And I think a lot of people don't want to leave behind what they've done. And I often say, like, what you've done up until this point is going to bring you to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And what you've learned and what you do every single day, day in and day out. I know you're frustrated, but, like, you can't live in a place or walk in a space that you haven't taken the time to get to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and put in the work for it, for sure. You got to earn it. Can you share an example of a client that you've worked with where their personal breakthrough directly impacted their business growth?
Yeah, so every client that has a personal breakthrough sustains growth, because I talk about it often on 2 different podcasts today. Most people walk around with blame and excuses on why they can't move the needle.
Yep.
They want to blame the people around them, the situations, the outcomes. And everything is a direct reflection of what you do and how you do it.
Yep.
And once you get rid of blame, once you get rid of excuses, and you create accountability to yourself, and you know that everything that happens, you are where you are because of who you are. And everything will grow up into a point. So I often say, like, you can't be blessed unless you're blessable. Like, you're only going to get to that point of what you can receive based on the person you are.
Yeah.
So it's almost like when you look at people who win the lottery or get an inheritance, they blow it. And the reason why is because it's like, here's a one-time ticket. Okay, I'm just going to spend a little more. And they don't realize that the money train is going to stop. And all of a sudden now they're bankrupt. They're in a worse place they were when they started. They're on drugs, whatever it is, because they didn't earn their way.
Right.
When you earn your way, you kind of have a different perspective about things. You have a different respect about things. And you start to see yourself leveling up in spaces where maybe you didn't see yourself ever being.
Right.
But that becomes from all the personal strategy and personal growth. So it really takes someone to really identify, like, I am the problem. I can't grow. My business doesn't grow because of me, not because of anybody else.
Right. It's funny, when I was coming up with questions, that's the answer I was hoping for with that. And took the words right out of my brain, because accountability, ownership, that's the only way you get to that next level.
Yeah, nobody wants to be accountable.
No. Listen, it's not easy. I don't like doing it, but it's a necessary, necessary step. All right, we're going to shift to women in business just a little bit, because my audience is probably mostly women.
That's cool.
Although I hope that I grab other people's attention. So why do women especially struggle to charge what they're worth? And what's your take on emotional discounting?
So I think women, you're starting to see a lot more women become successful now. Because I think it's the way that we grew up and the way that we were conditioned that, like, women have a place, the place is at home, the man is to make the money and to do all this. But we've had such a culture change and such a society change where it's like now women want to step up to the plate. And I think it takes courage. So everything that we do in life, it's something that we're taught. And we're either taught and we believe it, or we taught and we leave it, right? So, like, I grew up super humble. No, my parents didn't have a lot of money. I knew that their opinions were very low at value, just because they weren't going in the direction I was. And maybe as a female, I would see my mom, if I was a girl, like, behind the stove, cooking, cleaning, doing the laundry. And, like, that's my adaptive behavior, because that's what I think I should be doing.
Yep.
And I think today, like, believe it or not, like, I don't know, men are so weak that I think women have to step up. The masculinity in men today is gone. Women are creating dominance. Most women have a pink toolbox from their dad, and the guy doesn't even know how to use a screwdriver.
Yep.
So I think that we've came to such a culture shift where now women are stepping up to the game. Now they're realizing their worth. Now they're knowing that they don't need direction from men. And, they could do whatever it is that they want to do. But now charging to be in authority and charging your worth and creating your value is something that takes demand from inside. Like, you have to believe that you're worth and you're a person of significance. Like, listen, what I'm bringing to the table, my value is higher than anything else out there. So I think a percentage of women do, but then others are just happy that they could do their own thing, make their own money, make their own rules. But I think as the culture shift keeps going, you're going to find more and more women who become dominant in the workplace.
Yeah.
And you're going to find less and less men.
Yeah. And I think that challenge of charging what you're worth will be, kind of easier to overcome. I struggled with it when I started one of my businesses. I've had a few. And it's tough, especially in a smaller town where I started my first business. It's hard to get there.
I feel like moms for the last 20 years have babied their boys, like they're little babies, and they're always a little baby. So these boys have never grown up. Like back in the day, like dad would beat up the boy would do what he had to do. He'd be out there mowing the lawn and doing all that. Now you got moms pushing lawnmowers, right? So it's like you're making it okay for your boy to sit inside and play a video game because you want to baby him, but now you got to pick up the masculinity and you got to pick up all the things that he should be doing as a boy. So like you're having this shift where parents didn't show up the right way, but now the shift for adulthood, the women now have to take control because the boys were never taught to take control. So that's why everything's kind of going in this spiral.
Yeah. And women have to be able to move between that feminine and masculine energy space so that they can handle everything they need to handle. But yeah, you're right. Things need to change big time. I don't know how that's going to happen, but hopefully with podcasts like this where we keep bringing it up, right?
Yeah.
What's one big standout you see in female-led businesses now that lead to success versus the ones that might fizzle out?
I think belief, like conviction.
Yep.
A woman knows, like, I have something special to offer. I'm bringing something, dominant to the marketplace. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going after it. I think it has to do with anyone in business, women or men.
Yeah.
People who win believe that they deserve to win and know that this is their space and nobody else is taking it. Most people fail in business because they go with the illusion of like, all right, well, if I try this and it doesn't work, I can always fall back on this. So it's like they kind of create a hobby versus a business.
Yeah.
So you either risk all in or you don't do anything.
They leave themselves that out and that safety net, and then it doesn't, God, that wouldn't motivate me very much,
Right.
All right, so we're going to tie our two worlds together by kind of talking about personal branding, and obviously that can be applied to business, different things in life, and even just leveling up your own self. Because I really believe your brand is kind of your essence, right? And it's your soul in business form, so to speak. So what do you think the biggest mistake you see in entrepreneurs today when it comes to their personal branding, how they're trying to put themselves out there?
Well, number one, they're trying to brand their business. They're not trying to brand themselves. I was just talking about this to somebody. They said, "What do you think it's more important to brand your business or to brand you?" I go, "Well, you're kind of like the captain of all your ships. And at the end of the day, like everything should fall back on you. You should be the one who's navigating the seas. And one day your ship should be able to sail without you. But if you're building your business as your brand, you're going to be tied into that business. You're going to be someone who can never let go and never release. And your business isn't built to sell. So every business should be built to sell. And I know it's hard for most people when they start a business. They don't intentionally want to like ever sell it.
Sure, of course.
But if you're going to do something of significance and build something worthwhile, it has to be sellable. So by you being that universal clutch in the middle of everything going on in your life, everything will fall back to you. It's like Elon Musk did not build Tesla.
Right.
He bought it off of somebody else.
And then developed it
and
further.
then developed it further.
Yep.
But Elon Musk, if you look at his following, but then look at Tesla's following, Elon's got a way higher follow more. Everyone knows Elon. Some people don't even know what a Tesla is.
Yeah.
So it's more important to brand yourself because brand awareness is based on the individual and what the individual brings to market and how you impact the market. Your company should be on its own sequence. And at the end of the day, like if it were to let go or be gone, it should not affect who you are.
Right. Yeah, you're right. It keeps it human, All right. So do you think that people underestimate how much their brand is built off of their own healing journey or things they've gone through maybe?
So a lot of people I call false advertisement. There's a lot of people out there who brand who they are and what they do, and they do it based on image, not on character. If you haven't built something yourself and you haven't been through something, it's very, very difficult to bring people through the same troubled waters. But if you try to sell someone on the idea that they could be this, have this, based on what you show them, not necessarily what you've been through, it creates a lot of conflict. So these like Instagram influencers now, that are, showing off their Bugattis or Lamborghinis and all this stuff, like they lead with flash. And the problem is we live in a society where if you have a blue check, if you got 10,000 followers or more, if you got a nice car, you're ultimately somebody I need to follow.
Right.
Most wealthy people, the Donald Trumps of the world, the Elon Musk of the world, Bill Gates, whoever, they're not posting the cars they're driving.
Right.
They're not posting the things they're doing. They're sending you messages and delivering messages based on experience of what they went through. Mark Zuckerberg, all these people, they're not out there like living a lavish lifestyle and promoting it. They're living their lifestyle for themselves, not to entertain the world. But the world's got sucked into this place where it's like, hey, if A's doing it, that means I can do it. And I just have to do what they're doing. Oh, so buy this program for $500 a month and I'll teach you how to get there. Yeah. And this is how all these guys are making money.
Yeah. And it's, you're right. There's such a detachment there from the reality of it all. We need to be paying attention to the people that actually have a message.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. Systems. You're big about systems in business. Yeah. You talk a lot about the energy leaks in business. So where do you see people leaking the most, whether they're, beginning their entrepreneurial journey or deep into it?
So, control. Every time someone gets in business, they want to do everything because they want to save money. A couple reasons why we get involved in business. Number one, we want to have time. If you're doing everything, you're not going to have time. Number two, you want to have freedom. If you're sucked into your operations doing everything, you're never going to have freedom. And you want to have, big income potential. You're working 18, 20 hours a day. Let's say you're making $1 million a year after all your expenses, your net, you're at somewhere like, 200, 300,000, divide that up by 20 hours a day. I mean, you're making what, $11 an hour? I mean, at the end of the day, you're a glorified employee.
Yeah. You
can literally work at McDonald's and work 3 shifts, make the same amount of money, have zero responsibility.
And have benefits, not have to pay for your own. Yeah, you're right. People don't realize how tough it really is.
So once you let go of control, I was in this situation when I was like 23. I called my mentor. I'm like, bro, I'm burning out. Like, I don't know what to do. I said, like, I'm doing this. And he goes, because you're a control freak. He goes, once you let go of control and you let things go and you put people in place, everything is going to work out.
Yeah. That's such a hard point to understand, though, because I feel like, especially when you're starting out, right? Putting people in place. Like, I wish I could hire an assistant. I was just having this conversation with a friend last night. I'm approaching burnout. I have to find a balance. So that's what I'm working on right now. Taking on some projects and some things. So I got to find that balance. But it's really easy to kind of say, well, I'm going to, all the money coming in, I'm going to keep that. I don't want to put somebody in place to help me out. So how do you get from that point A to point B where you can say, okay, I really have to figure out how to have somebody help me or find that balance?
Well, first you have to stop saying, I don't want to put it out, because at the end of the day, you're buying time back, and your most valuable asset and what we fight for is time.
Yep.
So to get more out, you got to give more out. And it's a law of reciprocation. Like, it just works that way. So like building my brand, doing what I'm doing, it's so much work, so much posting going on, so many comments, so much. I've got virtual assistants. I got people doing my media. I got everything. And you know what? At the end of the day, I just finally hired a personal assistant. And it's just so much easier to navigate your day when all you got, all right, I have to show up here. I have to show up here. I have to do this. Oh, all right, I'm booked here. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, you start losing the ability to put out what you're trying to put out, and the reason you started it in the first place, because you're so tied up with all of that other stuff.
And everyone's like, oh, but nobody could do it as good as me. Or I wish I had another one of me. I wish I could duplicate me. That's the most selfish thing you could ever say. Like, listen, I suck at media. So I found a guy who's good, willing to pay him what he wants to get paid. I have a girl who's in my, social media helping me out, channeling out who the real, comments are and who actually wants my help. Then sends me like a whole script of who these people are. Have somebody literally making my schedule. I mean, it's pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
So if I got to spend a couple $100,000 a year to make an extra 10 hours a day back, 15 hours a day back, now I'm working 5 hours a day. I mean, hey, I'm good.
Yeah. I think we just answered that question to how we add more hours to the day. Add people.
Yep.
Because I always joke, like, I just need 10 more hours today and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So
look at the restaurant industry, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You got the whole kitchen line.
Yep.
You got the server. You got the hostess. You got the busboy. And everyone just kind of works together.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got the little diner, the mom and pop, where the guy's in the back cleaning, and between meals, he's cleaning the table. He's trying to ring up the register. You're getting frustrated because you can't check out fast enough. Your meal's taking too long because he's cleaning that table. You got a party at 7. They've been waiting for 6 minutes longer than they're supposed to because they can't sit down. And this is what happens in business.
It's a great analogy.
So the mom and pop can never grow bigger than mom and pop because they just want it to be mom and pop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is why franchises and other things have taken over the world because they implement systems. Systems save you time, energy, and money, and they create predictable results.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So should everybody have a scaling strategy from the start, or is it overkill when you're just beginning the journey?
So you should always have strategy and a goal in place, and you start working through your goal. And I think one of the biggest things is people don't fix things and tweak things as they move along, and they just kind of end up where they end up.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not gauging anything and nothing's, being understood of where you're actually bringing yourself, you might fail quicker than you actually think you will. But when you start gauging things and you have processes in place, systems in place, and you can actually maintain and see where everything's going, where your money's going, where your time's going, all that kind of stuff, it's a lot easier in the beginning to scale a lot faster.
Sure.
So I think from the beginning, you should systemate everything, have processes for everything, CRMs for everything, just so you can gauge it.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably better that way anyways, regardless, because now you're not going backwards and having to input all of that information and reassess.
And that was hard for me in business,
Yeah.
From my background, we were like a paper pen folder in a metal cabinet. And then they're like, all right, we're going to enter everything online, scan it, no more paper. We're paperless. I'm like, huh?
What?
Yeah.
That's a tough transition, I'm sure, to wrap your head around that.
But it makes life so much easier. It saves so much time, and you don't realize this stuff.
Yeah.
Everything now is by a click of a button versus trying to find it. You can find it easily.
Here's this isn't even on my list of questions, but that just sparked something. How do you get people? So one particular job that I work on the side, the owner, older gentleman, and some of the systems are pretty antiquated. And how do you get somebody to make that transition when they're so set in how they've always done business to get away from some of the paper filing or ways of doing payroll and things like that?
So that's the guy that says, I'll never go on Facebook or I'll never text anybody. At the end of the day, he's got to be willing to change. Listen, times change, right? You used to drive a car and pedal it, right? And then you went to a gas engine. Now you have an electric engine, and you have so many different things that change along the way. Mm-hmm. Business is the same way. Mm-hmm. If you don't start adapting to the change, you're going to lose out big time, and you're going to be so far behind.
Yeah.
And that was one thing I realized, when selling companies and when I wanted to sell companies, if I didn't have things automated and I wasn't up until the dates and the times of everything that was going on, nobody wanted my company.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to work to see what I was doing. They just wanted to click a button. There you go. Yeah. Good. So
we're working on him. We're giving him some little nudges, and he's open-minded. He's just not quite sure how.
I think if you just show him an example of what it can do and the amount of time and money it could save, and how he can eliminate all the hard paper, it'll just make life easier.
And that's for him. He just needs to see the value in it. Mm-hmm. He's a very smart businessman. He's got to understand the process and see the value.
Think about restaurants now. They carry around the credit card swipers. Mm-hmm. When you're done at the table, and they're like, all right, here, pay. No more printing receipts, no more giving back, no more envelopes, no more nothing. Everything's signed on here, and everything is just adapting. Now you're ordering off your table.
Mm-hmm. You're saving all of that product too. Having to purchase that product. All right, we're going to spice it up a little bit and tie our worlds together a little more with business confessions and hot takes. So what's a business boundary that you used to suck at but have finally mastered?
Being acceptable to people trying to take advantage of me. Especially employees back in the day, borrowing money, doing things, taking advantage of time, just not showing up, but me being well, okay, and letting them slide.
Sure.
I really had to stop doing that, and I had to stop looking at people I worked with as my friends. And once
That's
I
the
did
tough
that and I realized that, like, yeah, you may be my friend, but at the end of the day, I'm your employer.
Mm-hmm.
So what I say goes. And as you continue to let people do things, you know, they know it's just like a fishing pole. You know, throw it in, cast it back, reel it in, and eventually you're going to keep feeding them the same bullshit that they want to hear because they know that they got you.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to come to a place where, like, I had to take all the emotion out of the game and just really dive in and treat everybody the same.
Yep.
And if they broke a rule or didn't do what they were supposed to do, they got penalized.
Yeah. That's a tough space.
Yeah.
You know, I manage at this side job, and it's tough sometimes, you know, because I used to work with all of them right alongside of them, and now I'm, you know, essentially their boss. It's tough, but you have to be able to separate, you know, the personal
family.
relationship.
Like, my brother worked for me for 26 years.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it's tough, and there's entitlement, there's this, there's that. And it's, you know, when you're on two different wavelengths, but like you've been on the same path for 26 years, you know, one person feels like they should be getting everything while the other person's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough. You know what I mean? Like, you love your family, but at the same time, you got to put your foot down.
Yeah. And hopefully they understand. All right. What's the biggest turnoff in a brand that would cause you to not want to work with them?
Just like leading with flash and hype versus, you know, something that's powerful and touching. So when someone, the guy was just telling me, like, he was watching my videos. He goes like, bro, I don't know, like, you're super like raw. Like, you tell it how it is, but you have a great way of delivering it. So anyone who listens to you, it's like you're punching them in the stomach, but at the same time, you're rubbing their back.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I was watching a lot of your clips and everything preparing for today, and you do, but you have a subtle way of getting people to wake the F up and pay attention, you know?
And I think that what I've done over many years, even for, you know, people who are close to me outside of business, is I'm a straight shooter. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, and I don't care.
We need more of that.
Because by me lying to you, telling you something's okay or something looks good or this is acceptable, that creates a precedent that I shouldn't be happy with, and it creates a standard that you now think is okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, so I'm going to get real with you for a minute about a kind of personal, something that I came across with an ex, a situation where I was trying to build my business, and I got the, you're too focused on your business and there's not enough time for us. You don't make time for us. And, you know, I believe that time in relationships, that sacred time with your partner is really important and finding that balance. But, you know, I also kind of felt like it was a threat to my purpose by him saying that to me. And like, so what's your advice for people that are in that situation?
So that could be your fault. It could be maybe his, but I would say if you told it to me like that, I would say it's probably your fault. And the reason why I would say that is because you didn't sit him down and tell him what you were doing, why you were doing it, how you were doing it, and how he was going to play a part in it. So same thing with my family, you know, whatever I do, like, I got divorced. I filed for divorce in 2018. Times were tough. It was bad. It was rough. I sat my kids down and I said, listen, guys, for the next 5 years, I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to go to work, but I'm doing it for this, this, and this.
Yep.
And here's what I'm going to give you guys. You know, and then the first time we show up to Aruba and I go, guys, this is the rest of your life. They're like, ah. Now, the countdown, like, when are we going back? When are we going back? Every year, twice a year. You know what I mean? So it's like, you have to get your family involved in your mission.
Ooh, I love it.
And as long as they know what you're doing, because everyone says, I do it for my family.
Sure.
But if you're not involving your family, and I'm not telling you to involve them in like the shit that goes on every day, just involve them in the mission. Why you may have to take a phone call, why you may not be home a certain night, why you may have to go away for a weekend. And let them know, like, it's all going to be worth it. I tell people I coach, like, when's the last time you took your kids to Disney? I never did. Well, no wonder why your kids don't want to talk to you. Why don't you say, hey, listen, you know, daddy has to work hard for the next, you know, 6 months, but I've got tickets right here. We're going to go to Disney. Let me just put my head down. Your kids don't care if you don't even show up for the next 6 months. They just want to go to Disney.
Right.
You know, so you just got to wrap them in. So I think if you didn't explain to him what your vision was and what you were trying to do, and you kind of kept that in. And you're just like, hey, I'm just going to build my business. I'm super busy, and
Get over it.
Yeah. He has all rights to be upset.
Yep.
But if you say, here's why I'm doing it, and now he'll now start to be proud of you. He'll start to see why you're doing it. He'll be there. You set up some time aside for date night, whatever you got to do. You're never going to be able to give your family, your spouse, your significant other, your children as much time as you do your business. Your business will be the sucker of your life, but the beneficiaries are the people you do it for.
Yeah. That's great advice. And you just delivered one of those gut punch moments that we were just talking about because, of course I always try to, I'm very solution driven. So I always try to look at things when they're not going right and, okay, how do we fix it? Not dwell on the problem, but how do we fix it? And in hindsight, I should have had more of a conversation with him other than, I'm sure I said somewhere along the way, hey, I'm doing this for us. I'm doing this for our future. But it was never like a sit down, manage expectations kind of conversation. This is what I have to do. This is the trade-off. But in the long run, And I guess I really didn't have that.
So think about this. I say, hey, get in the car. Where are we going? Don't worry about it. We're now in the car for 2 days. We're in the car for 3 days. We just keep driving. I don't see anything on your GPS. You're just driving. Now I'm getting frustrated. Like, what are we doing? But GPS, boom, 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 destination, you'll be here in 6 days and 2 hours. Now you actually have something you're going after. So life works the same way. People that you want to be in combat with you and going out into the battlefield, they have to understand where your mission is. What's your GPS telling them? How can they play a part? And you're going to have those times where times are tough, but every time you make a wrong turn on a GPS, it reroutes you. And then if there's something going on in life with that, you could just reroute it and bring it back. Hey, this is why we're doing it. I just need a little bit more time. We're almost there.
I like that. Do you think that couples can build businesses together?
I guess it depends on the business. It depends on the role.
I know it's a very broad question.
Yeah, it depends on the business. It depends on the role. For me, it's hard because if you're not good with money the way I am, no way, no thanks. Because money, people don't understand, like, money is like a drug addiction. Like, if you don't understand and respect money, it will not respect you. So if you have somebody who's trying to build something big and you have somebody who can't respect money, like, you're always going to have a downfall. So if the principles are in place, the roles are in place, and this is all you're doing together, and you actually say, this is what you're doing, this is what you're doing, you guys are both drawing maybe a check and the rest goes somewhere else, yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
But I think it really depends on the business, it depends on the mission, and, both of you have to be 100% all the time, not relying like 50-50.
Right. Yep. I mean, it kind of, makes me think about being in relationship and building a brand or a business, simultaneously. And sometimes in relationships, you're still kind of shape shifting and working through things, but also trying to be this leader in your business. And, it can be a major challenge, strain on the business and the relationship. Both can end up,
so
suffering.
My relationship, my kids too, everyone, everything in my life right now is outside of my brand.
Yeah.
I don't put it on my social media because at the end of the day, the world doesn't need to know about that.
Yeah.
But they know what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, how I'm delivering it, and they see it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, I don't need the clout for people, and I don't need, as you start to grow higher in business and success, first people want to shoot down your family and the people you love and the people you care about. So as long as you keep them out of the weeds, you know what I mean? Nobody's going to mess with them.
Yep. I like that. It's good advice. All right, so as we're wrapping this up, give me one big last truth bomb for everybody out there that's kind of trying to build their brand, build their business, and better themselves in general.
Well, first off, don't try it, just do it. Second off, just go after it. Like, don't worry about the time. Don't worry about what's going on. I literally said, I'm going to build the Big D brand. I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm going to build a new Instagram. I'm going to, get my podcast up, and I just went for it. Consistency. Yep. As long as you're putting in a little bit every single day, and now I'm putting in more and more and more, but now I have a team behind me. It's just being able to do something. Listen, you're going to suck before you're good. No matter what you do in life, you are going to suck before you're good. And you got to be okay with that.
Yep.
Michael Jordan sucked. And that's why I help a lot of people, like, when they're building their brand, when they're building their business, you can't do it alone.
Right.
Need somebody to help you. I've had mentors for the last 20 plus years that I've paid, that have helped me get to other spots, because these are visionaries.
Mm-hmm.
And I spend time and talk to people who have walked the paths, been down the roads that I need to go, because it's a lot easier to ask someone what tree to turn at if they've been down the woods than you just trying to figure it out.
Right.
You know, so you just have to be consistent. You got to plug away, go all in, and don't try it. Just do it. Don't have a fallback. You're in or you're out.
Yep.
You know, because I always tell people, listen, you stand on the fence, you're going to get shot. You know, you have to pick a side. You're a winner or you're a loser. Mm-hmm. There's no other way.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get a trophy for trying.
No, not, and you shouldn't. So I like to leave my listeners with journal prompts every week, kind of give them a little homework or a way to dive deeper into the episode. So I'm going to throw out a couple, and if you have any you wanted to add, by all means.
Sure.
All right, so everybody, get your notebooks out. Where are you still dimming your power to be palatable? That can be in life and in business. Don't worry about appealing to the masses, but where are you dimming your power just to make everybody else accept you or what you're trying to put out there? What would it look like to stop negotiating your ambition for someone else's comfort? What parts of your brand, business, or even yourself are still hiding the real you? And what would shift if you showed up fully with no filter and no apology? Anything you want to add?
Yeah. What can you do to stop avoiding the places that you're trying to go and stop avoiding the outcomes you're trying to get? How much less time can you spend staying busy on your phone and searching the internet, and how much more time can you implement in yourself? Like, a common problem is the minute people wake up, they're on their phone. I don't go on my phone for the first 2 hours of the day.
Nice.
You know, I read, I journal, I do what I got to do. If you can't step into the world when you're ready, you'll never be ready for your day. Because the world's going to just start blasting you with stuff. Whether you see someone got into an accident, whether you see we're going to war, whether you see this, whether you see that. Because nobody's watching positive shit in the morning. They're just looking to catch up to what they missed.
Yeah.
Put the world aside for a minute. Wake up. Step into the world. Be present. Now, once you're ready for the world to enter your world, do it. At night, instead of spending time scrolling social media, doing all this stuff, maybe watch something that's inspiring. YouTube, read a book, whatever it is, so that when you go to bed, your clarity and your vision for tomorrow are a lot more clearer than the noise that you're just trying to say, I'm too busy, I don't have time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a personal system that we could all, adopt, whatever your routine is before bed when you wake up. And if you are still kind of tied to that social media and you want to be on your phone or watching something, I can understand that. Find the positive things. And I feel like there are a lot more accounts out there, and maybe it's just the algorithm for me in my life right now, but I'm finding a lot more positive, accounts out there that can help.
Their algorithm, whoever is watching whatever they're watching, their algorithm is just going to push what they're into.
Sure. Of course.
So once you start changing your behaviors, adaptability, all this stuff's going to start changing. You're going to start seeing higher influences in your life.
I mean, that translates into real life too, not just the phone and social
people
media.
Around you.
Yep. Tighten your circle, good energy, put good things out there,
100%.
For sure. All right, so Dan, tell us what you've got going on in your world right now. Where can everybody find you, connect with you if they want your help?
So any of you men or women, we're doing a big business event. My coach, Bedros Koulian's flying in from California. It's going to be November 6th in New Jersey. I'll give you the link. You can promote it.
Yes, make sure everything's listed.
You guys can find me on social media. My best handle for me is going to be Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. Big Dan Official on Instagram, and then all the links to my website and all my other platforms are on there. But if you want to connect with me, you need anything from me, shoot me a DM. Just use my Instagram, and that's how you get hold of me.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, I have to thank you. I'm psyched about this conversation. I feel like we had some good stuff for everybody, and I hope all of the listeners find, the value in it that I know I have. I'm feeling very motivated now for the rest of my day. I want to go and get some shit done,
Get it done.
So I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
All right, babes, you know what to do. Listen, subscribe, please share, follow along, and reach out if you want to connect. And remember, your crown wasn't given to you to play small. See you next week.